Hello YouTube, Ben here, and today's topic is do we panic? Do we panic at 40 parts per million? Do we panic when our nitrates are over 20 parts per million? Or is 10 the only thing that's really acceptable? So I hear a lot of things, I read a lot of things, certainly on the internet. If you do a little research, I mean, you'll find that some people are saying that fish actually have a lot more tolerance for nitrate than is normally believed. And by that what I mean is some of the studies I've come across, and you can Google these, just Google acceptable nitrate levels, and you'll see them yourself, that in some cases they're talking about 100 parts per million and things of this nature. So should we panic at 40? Should we feel concerned at 30 or 20 parts per million? Should we strive for 0? Should we strive for 10 parts per million? What is the proper benchmark for our African cichlid buddies here in the tank? So to answer that question, I've recruited the help of someone I consider very knowledgeable in the field, certainly has worked as a bit of a mentor to me, and I've invited him to join in the conversation and collaboration. So let's hear what Evan Alexander, the inquisitive fish guy IFG, and the generalissimo, the general over at hashtag HapNation. Let's see what Evan has to say about the subject of acceptable nitrates in an African cichlid tank. So, Evan, over to you, my friend.
What up, YouTube, fellow hobbyists, guys and girls? I'm here today with Ben Ochart to talk about nitrates, one of the silent killers in the freshwater aquarium hobby. I'm going to let you guys get a close-up look at the aquarium, and we're going to talk about nitrates. Alright guys, let's get into nitrates. 40 ppm parts per million is the very highest that should be tolerated in the freshwater aquarium. It is actually high enough to warrant an immediate water change. Please remember that nitrate is toxic. Okay guys? Ammonia, nitrites, and nitrates are all byproducts of organic waste breaking down in your aquarium. Ideally, you want to be somewhere between 5 to 10 parts per million. The closer to 0, the better. So when you're doing your water change and your maintenance, make sure that, as you can see here, you don't see any organic waste, any poop or anything like that. So make sure that you're doing a thorough job when performing your water changes. In my opinion, most hobbyists overreact when there are some discrepancies with their water test results. Just take it easy, man. Relax. Get a water change going. Make sure you gravel vac. And also, be mindful of when was the last time that you performed maintenance on your canister filters. Okay guys, so as the title says, don't kill yourself. Okay guys, there you have it. As mentioned, you want to remain in between the 5 and 10 parts per million range, and also be mindful of any organic waste that may be settled at the bottom of your aquariums. Thanks for the spot, Ben.
Evan, thank you so much. Those were excellent points, excellent advice. To speak to one of the points that Evan made, I have tanks, for example, my 60-gallon grow out. This is a tank that I vacuum every week. I move all the decor around every week and get under some of the decor. More completely every other week, I'll completely move the decor around. And I can tell you from experience that there's always a tremendous amount of detritus, waste, old food, waste, crap from the fish, to be crude, under those rocks. Somehow the waste works its way under the rocks and sits there and becomes a bit of a nitrate factory. So we really have to watch for that. Those of you who have heavily decorated tanks with a large amount of rocks, a large amount of weight that has to be moved around, it is my personal belief that at least every other week you need to get under that decor and vacuum thoroughly, or you're going to build up a lot of detritus, a lot of waste down there, and that is going to be a nitrate factory for you. Certainly you can have dirty canisters, dirty media, things of this nature that have to be maintained correctly. If you're running a couple canisters the way I do, do not clean them both at the same time. Always alternate your cleanings. And don't shock your tank, because you can actually start the cycle going. And even though nitrates are dangerous, they're not as dangerous as ammonia and nitrite. Okay? And if you pick up the article, Practical Water Chemistry, I believe it's available through cichlid-forum, cichlid-forum.com. There's one on the nitrogen cycle, an article there, also an article on practical water chemistry that goes over how the ammonia, nitrate work together. And ammonia and nitrite are deadly, very deadly, even in low levels. You can get it when your stock exceeds the ability of your beneficial bacteria. You have an overstocked tank, or you simply are not maintaining your tank correctly, and you can start to get a buildup of some very bad things in your tank. Certainly, if you have a dead fish, sometimes in an overstocked tank, you will not notice that a fish is missing, and that fish will somehow wedge between a couple pieces of decor and rot and produce ammonia and other good stuff. So really stay on top of it. And me personally, my tanks run around 20 parts per million. Sometimes they go up around 40. I don't panic. I simply increase the frequency of my water changes, increase the volume of my water changes, and certainly use products like Stability, Seachem Stability, Seachem Pristine, Seachem Safe, products like that. These things help, and but if I get over 40, if I get 40 or more, I really start to accelerate water changes and volume, and I will actually service a canister and really take more radical steps, even though I pace those steps out so I don't shock the tank, or changes that shock the fish are actually also very, very dangerous to your tank. And you don't want to really start a tank cycling all over again, which can happen if you change too much too fast. So we certainly, I would defer to Evan's wisdom and shoot for that 10 parts per million. That would be ideal. Certainly, if you had a sump and some type of a media reactor of some kind, where you could get anaerobic bacteria going, the kind of bacteria that lives deep in the media and doesn't require a lot of oxygen. I believe that bacteria does consume nitrate, but it takes some very special steps to really get something like that going. Certainly plants can help, but I can tell you from experience, it takes far more plants than the plants you see even behind me, than the anubias you see in this tank. It takes far more than that level of plants to produce a very large, a noticeable change in nitrates. Nothing is going to replace routine maintenance, water changes, taking care of your canisters, and deep cleaning your substrate to ensure that, and especially getting under your decor to ensure you have no pockets of waste and detritus that are working as a nitrate factory. Okay, so for me, I'm a little bit more. I don't panic quite as much. I don't worry that much if I get in that 20 to 40 zone. But certainly, more ideally, I would say go with what Evan is saying and go with that 10 parts per million target. You'll have a healthier tank in the long run, because nitrate over time will start to reduce the resistance to illness. It will create some wear. You'll see it on the finnage of your fish. You'll also, if you're breeding fish, their ability to breed, to actually produce fry, will be impacted, and they will be more susceptible to disease, and will be just under more stress if you allow your nitrates to stay at 40 for a long period of time. It will show up in the fish. So let's deter to Evan's advice and go with 10 parts per million, and do everything you can, whether it's increasing the percentage of your water changes, being more diligent on your canister maintenance, on your filter maintenance, whether it's a sump, canister, hang on back, whatever that might be, and really be sure to vacuum that substrate and get under the decor, and don't allow waste to sit for long periods of time. Okay, so I hope that helps, and if you get up to 40 parts per million, don't panic, don't kill yourself, don't leave the hobby, don't give yourself a coronary. Just take reasonable steps and realize that the change will occur gradually. It will not be sudden, but it will occur. It might take several water changes that are maybe 20-30% greater than normal. Maybe you're adding an extra water change during the week. It could be several weeks to a month before your test results start to show a change. That's fine. You want gradual change when it comes to the tank. Okay, rapid, shocking change is more dangerous than being at 40 parts per million for an extra couple weeks. Okay, all right, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Thank you so much, Evan, for your sage advice. Always a pleasure to collaborate with you, my friend. Okay, so thank you, everybody, and thank you to all of you who are supporting the channel. Expand the conversation. Come over to ben.o.cichlid at the Facebook page. Follow on Instagram at ben.o.cichlid. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Let's end off with a look at the fish. As you can see, these fish are doing well. And the orange blossom is quite a specimen. The electric blue looking very, very good with that white blaze of his. And Bucanono, there's the otter point. The Bucanono continues to grow. Will probably end up being one of the larger fish in the tank. And but without doubt, the fish that has certainly taken over, as was mentioned in my prior video, is the Intermedius. That fish is certainly the tank boss. Nobody messes with him, and he can pretty much clear out any area of the tank that he wants to roam around in, and doesn't want anyone messing around in. He just clears that area right out. Doesn't matter who the fish is.